What's up, you guys? Today, a bit of a different topic than for usual our aquatic adventures. What I wanted to talk about is just the basic animal care. Animal of choice, animal that we choose to hold captive, and I think we are responsible for, just like we are for our own children. Not to confuse such things as animals with children. I mean, there's a common misconception among the people that I talk to every day that approach me with the question, why raw? Well, let's start from the basics, and let's keep it very simple. Bottom line is, why raw? Think of it this way. Each species that we're talking about here has unique DNA, unique blueprint to develop the way they do and then do function as they do. For instance, this is a piranha, which is a fish first and foremost. Then it's a piranha as in species of a fish, and then it's a piranha as in red belly piranha, which is another deeper yet sub-level of describing this particular being. This guy right there, his name is Cannon, or we call him Alpha here. You get what I'm saying? Similar for this guy right there, I don't know if you can see him or not, but that's Zulu. He's a German Rottweiler, quite average German Rottweiler. Actually, he's hitting about 130 pounds at 2 years of age, and he has never seen a kibble in his life. Except for the early, his breeder, or the breeder that we got him from, she fed him some, a buffalo of some sort. You guys know. Anyway, so yeah, raw feeding for him as well, because he is first and foremost an animal, not a child. Even though he's my companion, he's an animal, first and foremost. And what type of animal is he? It is very apparent through the very recent studies and findings and documentations and everything else that have been actually put in to finding out what dogs are. Dogs in particular, which have been domesticated or labeled as domesticated animal, therefore like ourselves, with omnivoristic tendencies. That's about as far as it goes. Literally as far as it goes. Because the truth is, they are absolutely carnivores first and foremost. That's right. Their teeth, their digestive tracts, everything else, including the inability to fermentate cellulose, which is a distinctive separation from, carnivore to even omnivore, let alone herbivore. So, again, back to the basics, to the foundation. And that's where we find that this animal, as a German Rottweiler or dog in particular, this guy named Zulu, is still just a carnivore. And that's what he requires on a biological level. And that's what you start. You supply simply the sustenance, the building blocks, and all the nutrition as they really require and need, not as we feel or we deem comfortable or we deem convenient or we find popular or whatever. So yes, we have to find what is absolutely most appropriate and first and foremost on a biological level. And then we can migrate into different things like the environment we choose to keep them in. Whether it's a full spectrum, full-on behavioral and nutritional, care for your animal, as in this piranha situation in particular, it's a raw feeding, live feeding, where the behavioral development takes place, aside from physical development, which is their growth and so on, to show them their health or their basic existence. Whereas for him, once more, first and foremost is food. His nutritional needs are satisfied completely, as if he was to be a wild animal and forage for himself, which he would know best what he requires, not us. So supplying that, you have taken care of the very basic, the very primal and instinctive need of having sustenance for survival. Secondly, of course, is the environment, as I mentioned. His environment is here among us, in the pack, with his pack leader. I supply the food, I supply the belonging, and I also supply, additional things like, time and feelings and so forth as they, collectively add on to the care for the animal, which for some is minimal, just food and then, whatever, working, guarding and whatnot. For others, is actually overwhelming, where the dog goes with you everywhere, accommodations as if he was a human child and so forth. But that's not entirely, lost or for nothing, or I should say demented. If the food, or at least the nutritional needs are satisfied still, that yes, there are going to be a lot of feelings. Like I said, we use a lot of feelings in a lot of our endeavors. So what you have to do is just be able to separate yourself from the confusion of feelings and popularity and everything else that seems to very much influence pretty much everything we do. What you want to do is basically do away from the confusion, stay basic, satisfy the food, not just for your for your animal, for your companion, but for yourself as well, and you'll see changes immediately. And then once you start building from there, from that very fundamental step, the very, very basic fundamental step, which is nutrition, then you'll build your physical endurance and everything else that'll simply aid and help you remain healthy and live a longer life, an active life. A length of life isn't as important as the quality. I always go for quality versus quantity. But it seems like we're losing out on both nowadays, stressing out, dying younger, our kids battling diseases they should not have been concerned with for eons on. And I don't know, that's just my outlook, that's just my observation. As I say, I'm taking in everything that I have experienced, that I saw, whether it's taking care of animals, taking care of my own kids, or taking care of myself, for the last few decades. I found out that good balance is pretty much the best recipe, and nature does just that. It balances things, even though it looks like chaos, because it is very well organized chaos, very well balanced, cohesive, sort of symbiotic, relationship between all these species, fauna and flora and everything else. And I think our best chance for basically having to enjoy it and stick around for as long as possible is to definitely tune in, kind of keen in on that recipe, on that blueprint, follow that sort of mentality, or if you want to call it, a lot of people assign this a great design to a creator, and I have no argument against that. Like I said, your faith lies wherever it takes you. Just don't confuse it with logic, or don't substitute it with logic first, and then you're going to arrive at some off-the-wall conclusions and notions and whatever, that someone is better than other, that someone's ideas may be detrimental to all of us, and we'll allow it because it's popular, allow it because we want to fit in, or just simply because we have no ambition to try anything ourselves. Now, that is a terrible way to be, and in my opinion, sticking around and just to be a spectator is probably not as much fun as being a participant. So I invite you to be a participant, even on a small scale, even if it is a small fish tank, even if it is a small lecture, or even trying out a healthier, better lifestyle yourself by choosing better nutrition, therefore stopping industrial care for all of us, because that is not necessary. When we find out that 1 acre farm can feed hundreds of people without affecting much. So when we're overproducing and then find ourselves in a situation where our families or our nation throws away 40% of the food produced is disgusting. It's a loss. So as I see it, find out what it takes to take care of what you have. Try on your own, take care of what you have, and then you'll realize that it is unnecessary to have so much, especially when you can't take care of it. Someone else has to do it for you. And that's where the problem begins. That's why the wealthy are getting pissed at the poor because they say, I have to work, so I have to pay for you do nothing. And that is true. You enable somebody to do nothing when you give them stuff for free. So even at a small token of, appreciation by simply showing up, simply inviting the idea of earning something, not being given it for free, is dignifying. It's definitely empowering, and that's what I'm talking about. With everything you do and everything that you surround yourself with, you can always do, you can always do better and best and share it. So on that notion, for those that are new here, my name is Marek. Everyone calls me Bear or Bearski. As you can tell, I am very passionate about what I do here. I put a lot of effort and time into it, even though I don't have that much time, and the effort is well spent because I did break my back some time ago, paralyzed my leg. Long story short, energy comes scarce. And with that being said, check us out. I believe it's Sunday, 13th of October. We're going live at 2 o'clock, just about. I'm not really sure. I don't know what to expect. I've never done it before. It'll be my first time going live. And my team puts together or helps put together this entire endeavor. Like I said, I'm quite unexperienced, so forgive me ahead of time for any of our mess ups. But hopefully to see you there. I'll hear you, or I don't know how it's gonna go, but I think we may be able to answer some phone calls. So this will be really awesome to talk to somebody, anybody that has any questions about anything that I'm doing as far as raw feedings, animal care, or personal, fitness type of things. I'm here, and I'm an open book. So there's gonna be, maybe some things you're not gonna like hearing, and you may feel insulted at times, as I often do insult your intelligence, because you already noticed, you refuse to acknowledge it, and that's basically where it is. I did the same thing, a lot of people do, and that's why we're stuck in the cycles of refusal, and then refusal to change something, yet we expect different results, which is insane. Until next time, you guys.